Okay, so now we're going to talk about case statements. We are back in the food directory where we have some of that stuff from earlier. We're going to go ahead and make a new program, and we're going to call it case. So case statements, you've probably seen them in other languages. They're very similar in Bash, and we can go ahead and just kind of whip one up real quick just so you can get an idea of what the syntax looks like, what it does, how it works. So we could do something like s equals $1, and then we can say case $s in, and then we can go through and talk about all our potential cases here. We don't need a semicolon do or anything. We just have an in here. And now we can say what cases there are. So the case would be like Dave. And if it's Dave, we can echo, hi, Dave. And then if it's Buddy, we could say echo, oh, there he is. So sorry, this is so stupid. Now you notice my syntax highlighter got a little mad at me. The reason that happened is because I didn't close this section. You know how in other languages you might have break? Well, here we don't use break, we use semicolon, semicolon. This is how we close the section. And then who was the third guy? Guy, I think I said. Go. Uh-oh. Here comes trouble. I'm sorry, this is so stupid. Let's close that. And then we close it here. Remember how we closed if with fee? We close case with esac. Really dumb, but that's what you do, okay? So let's go ahead and let's run case. Let's give it nothing, and we get nothing because it matched none of those cases. As you can see, we took the argument was blank, it tried to match blank, it didn't match any of it. But if we give it Dave, let's say hi Dave, hey, that's pretty cool. If we give it Buddy, let's say, oh, there he is. If we give it Guy, uh-oh, here comes trouble. If we give it John, just spell it wrong, we get nothing. So as you can see, we get nothing there. How do we handle that case, the default case? Well, we can use, you guessed it, a wildcard. So echo, I don't know who you are. There you go. So now we can run this and it'll say, I don't know who you are. So that's the basics of case statements. They do get a little bit more complex, and we'll talk about the complexities. Also, if you're only doing one thing per case, a lot of times it makes sense to kind of just put them on one line. You can space them out, you can do multiple commands, but if you're just doing one command, kind of doing them like this, very simple to look at, very easy to understand. So yeah, you have this, and you also have wildcards in the beginning. So let's go back. So if you remember in the last one where I talked about what we have, I went in the Bash course and I have my notes, and I think it was 0306. And we have this script from before. Well, this right here with the if and the elif and the else, that's a good candidate for rewriting. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. Let's save this as 01 case. So now we have a brand new script called 01 case, and let's modify it. So down here we have for name in this, and we check if the name starts with a D or the name starts with a B. We can rewrite this. So let's go ahead and rewrite this right now. We can do case $name in D star. Totally valid. And then we'll call hello on name and do the double semicolon to close it. If it's a B star, we will call hello on name and do the double semicolon to close it. And if it's anything else, we can do the goodbye on name and do the double semicolon to close it. Get rid of all this, put our esac here, and we're good to go. We've rewritten the script to use a case statement. So now if we run this, we get name required. Joe, John, Buddy, Guy, Dave. Goodbye, Joe. Goodbye, John. Hello, Buddy. Goodbye, Guy. Hello, Dave. So look, the D's and the B's give you a hello. Everything else gives us a goodbye. So that works. That's awesome. One of the last things we can do here is, if you notice, these two cases are kind of the same. We can do this. Put a pipe character there. We're not piping information from one to the other. Think of it as like a or statement. It's going to match one or the other. So we can rerun this. And it works. We get hello for Buddy and we get hello for Dave. So you can put multiple patterns like this and condense them down into the same block. So case statements can be very elegant. I think they're one of those things where I see people using if statements and they really could just benefit from using a case statement. Sometimes you'll have if blocks that are like 20 lines long and they can be replaced by a case statement that's like 8. So it's pretty awesome. But since we're here, let's talk about the next thing. So in 400, I have created some scripts and we're going to go through this. A lot of this course will be me writing programming and you being able to follow along. But some of this stuff I think is easier if I already come at it pre-written because there's one or two little tweaks I can show you. So we have this case first, And as you can see, this is what we had before. I didn't condense the two cases, but this is the exact same script that we had already rewritten. I'm not going to spend time on that. Let's look at the simple case statement. So as you can see, this is very similar to the one that I originally wrote at the beginning, but I've hard-coded it to Dave. And the reason I've hard-coded it to Dave is to show you that we have matched D star and we have Dave, we have F star and we have foo. So this is really interesting. What do you think is going to happen? We have the string Dave here. It will match D star because it starts with D, so it'll match D star. Will it match Dave? Will it go on and match the next one that it would match? Because in my mind, these two are matches. Let's see what it does. We run it. It only matches the first one. So this is how case statements work with this double semicolon in bash. They will match one. They won't match any more than that. They go by their first match and they completely break out. But there are alternative syntaxes, okay? So let's look at the always fall through example. The name might give away what it does, but look at this. Semicolon ampersand. Semicolon ampersand. Isn't that really interesting? So we have the string here, far. We're not using Dave. We have it set to far. So it should match F star and it will not match foo, right? Because far is not foo. So let's go ahead and run always fall through. That's interesting, isn't it? So what happened there? Let's go ahead and pull that source code up. I'll do this and then we'll run it again. You can see that it matched F star. That was the first one it matched. But this causes it to fall through to the next one. So whether it matched or not, it just moved on to the next branch of code and just kept running all this stuff. And then it moved on to here and it ran this stuff. It didn't match those. It only matched F star. But once it matched, it moved on to the next automatically. You may or may not want this behavior. If you do, semicolon ampersand is the way to do it. And then we have a third one. Believe it or not, we have a third one, semicolon, semicolon, ampersand. Yeah, it's not great syntax. I don't love it. I'm not going to sit here and defend it, but it is what it is. So again, we have Dave here. So we should match D star, right? So what's going to happen? Well, I'm not going to make you guess. We'll just run it and I'll show you. Let's pull up the source code. There we go. So it matched D star. It matched Dave. It didn't match these two, but then it matched star. So look at the name of the script. It's kind of giving it away. Try again. This will go through every possible case and it will match. Anytime it matches, it will run the code and it will check every single match. So it'll go from top to bottom. It'll say, hey, am I D star? Well, I'm Dave. So yes. So let me run this code. Hey, am I Dave? Well, I'm Dave. So yes. Let me run this code. Hey, am I F star? No. Hey, am I foo? No. Hey, am I star? Yes. So these are some alternative syntax to case statements. I will tell you in my experience, I've written a lot of bash code. I almost never use the two alternative syntaxes I show you. I call them alternative. This is the main syntax I use, the double semicolon, where we match the first one that matches and then we break out of the case statement. This is the one I use the most, but it's good to know that the other ones are there. So there you go.